When the players speak, you gotta listen. Why? Because they always drop a nugget to where you understand what's going on. Oklahoma running back Jaydn Ott gave us the reason why he came to Oklahoma and little differences between here as well as at Cal. Let's dive into that, plus some other statements from like Kobe McKenzie, Taylor Wine, etc. Let's dive into some of the players' statements. Before we do that, welcome to Unfair Sports. I'm your host, Jay. Thank y'all for pulling up to the channel. So, fall camp is here. We had weigh-ins yesterday. The video and propaganda's going out. So, all y'all need to be getting excited because football is around the corner. Your boy's hyped. So, I want to dive into what the players talked about. Yesterday, we did a video on what the coaches were talking about. Now it's time to hear what some of these players had to say about each other heading into this season. First one, though, we'll lead off. We ain't going to bury the lead. We're going to talk about Jaydn Ott, running back, transfer running back that just came in from Cal. He gave us some pretty good nuggets as he talked about coming to Oklahoma. Let's dive into that. One of the things I liked was this here where he talked about things were getting chippy. So obviously everybody is fighting for the opportunity to play here. He feels an intensity here that he hasn't felt before. And yeah, Jaydn Ott, I think he loves it. He gave some praise to teammates and all of that. But the main question was asked, hey, what made you come to Oklahoma? And so he kind of expanded on that. And he said one reason was John Matir. So, of course, this quarterback is the guy that got him and attracted him to Oklahoma and kind of expected that, right? We are all very high on John Matir and what he has to offer. And we know that Matir is, good. Jaydn Ott saw that same thing. He talked through about how, he played against them, played against Ben Arbuckle, played against John Matir. And, Ben Arbuckle mentioned about how he played against Ott and Ott destroyed them at Washington State. So they know each other very well. But I like the fact that he talked about playing with him. And then he talked about the differences between Cal and Oklahoma. And this is the thing that kind of sparked a lot of people's attention. He said, basically, I don't know how to say this nicely, but they care. Not to say that my teammates at Cal didn't, but there's levels to this. And some people saw this as a shot. I actually saw some fans of opposing teams saying that they hope that their team wins because they don't like when players take shots at their old team. And if you really think about it, Ott did not take a shot at his old team. Not one whatsoever. He just confirmed what we all knew is that Oklahoma takes football a lot more seriously than a lot of other programs, especially here in the South. Hell, the SEC in general and a lot of the Big Ten schools are similar. They take football seriously at a different level than most do. And Jaydn Ott kind of confirmed that. He even talked about some other players that on the roster, of course, watching some tape and everybody and seeing everybody work. He's a fan of Xavier Robinson. Yeah, X-Rob is, I think X-Rob's going to end up fighting very hard for that second spot right behind Ott. I kind of think that that's who we end up with as number 2 next season, but we still have to wait and see. But he praised Xavier Robinson, the way he moves, his strength, etc. So he thinks he's a big dude, but he can move. Love to hear that. And I know y'all are excited about that because him being a Carl Albert kid, kid that we're very high on here with the fam. Love to see that one of our leaders, Jaydn Ott, is big on the backs right behind him. And you can tell they all care. Like I said, showed them that graphic before. He said they were getting chippy. And I think that that's more so in workouts, rope pulls, and all of that, which tells you that this team cares. And so if you fans wonder if these Sooners really are going to push for an opportunity to win, yeah, they're going to push their tails off to get a W and get as many W's as possible this season for you all. So let me know what y'all think. Hop in the comments. Want to hear your thoughts. You got some words from some of the other players. I think some of the other ones that were very intriguing. Kobe McKenzie talked about how for him and Kip Lewis, they have learned a lot from each other, coming in together at the same time, and he feels like he has helped with his growth. And the anticipation is Kobe McKenzie is going to be a massive leader, or he is a massive leader on that defense, and he's going to be the one that steps up to do basically your Danny Stutzman work. For him, it's really going to be big on him growing in his coverage, but he's going to be that run-stuffing linebacker. I mean, he comes in bigger than what Kenneth Murray did when he was here at Oklahoma, and that was in high school, which is crazy. But the expectation is he's going to be your dot. He's going to be the one going out there leading the way in the linebacker spots, and I kind of think that Kobe McKenzie will. I think that this is where we see it. But he also talked about Sammy Omosigho. And this is what he said. The most important thing for Sammy is just going and taking it. I told Sammy, I believe it was 2 weeks ago, if you want my job, go and take it. I truly believe that, because either way, it'll make both of us better. How many times have you heard a player say, hey, if you want my spot, take it. But you got to work for it. And pushing his teammate to try to take his position, while at the same time pushing himself to make sure he keeps his spot. Huge. And I actually think that Sammy Omosigho is going to end up being the other green dot on this roster, which would be a big, big pickup, a huge one, if you want me to be honest. So I'm looking at the way this is all going. This defense is going to be fun to watch. Fun. Then, of course, you heard from Taylor Wine a little bit. He was very humble. He's a pretty quiet guy. And he just talked about working hard and going. And how he, just going in and grinding every day. So he's a pretty quiet conversation, but Troy Everett was not quiet. The center talked about how not only did he beat R. Mason Thomas in a race, yeah, I know, right? He beat R. Mason Thomas in a race, but he also talked about how he believes this is the best defensive line in the SEC, if not the country. Now, I haven't played everybody in the country, but they believe they have the best defensive line in the SEC. That's massive praise for a team that saw some pretty good defensive lines last year. They saw some talent. They ran across some really good players, and, they got pushed. I love hearing that. I love hearing that they have that type of confidence. And now, with all of the praise the offensive line is getting, with all of the push that the offensive line has received, their goal here is to get out there and be great, which y'all need. We need a good offensive line this year. It's going to be critical that this offensive line actually shows up. Besides that, a few other players had some talks. Jacob Sexton talked about playing left tackle, left guard. He said it was tough, but he feels way more comfortable playing at the tackle spot, which, of course, you would expect that from him. He came in as a tackle, and he was going to play left tackle until he got hurt at the against Florida. Before we played Florida State, like in practice is when he tore his ACL, so you didn't get to really see him. But, he's been kind of working back from that. But he talked about his comfort at playing left tackle over guard. And I mentioned before that, who was it? Gabe Eichert had talked about how he felt like Sexton probably would be better by the way he moves at guard. Sexton feels more comfortable at tackle. Don't know. But all I know is his offensive line should show us some special stuff. I know that y'all are really concerned about that. I get it. We'll do a full review. We'll walk through every single spot. I already have my final prediction who's going to start, and we'll walk through all of that. That way we can, figure out what's going to happen. Then Dominic Williams came out there. He's the leader on the defensive line, and he told the media he wholeheartedly believes that we have the best defensive line in the SEC. Some of the media pundits have said it. National analysts have said it. Some of the players are pushing it. Now, again, this is no longer talking season. We need to go out there and show it. So now fall camp is going down. We'll pray for the mercies of health and continue that bad boy going. And then Illinois State, we'll see what this team is about. Let me know what y'all think. Hop in the comments. I want to hear your thoughts. Who do you think is one player that you feel like is going to really break out that no one's talking about? Very few of those, because we're talking about everybody, but who do you think is one that's going to take that leap that you all are hoping for? Made this far, like the content, hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, rate. And then, we'd love for y'all to join this family of Sooner fans talking SEC, OU, and college football in general. I'm going to have a blast doing it. We will get on, there's a few other things I need to talk about. The national analysts out there have been talking about Oklahoma. I've got a few books that I've been reading on some of the teams, and I'm going to give y'all some of their thoughts. what some of the book writers feel about us. We talked about Phil Steele, so we'll compare Phil Steele with some of the others I have, Lindy Sports, as well as Pick Six Previews. We'll go through those. We'll talk about that probably sometime tomorrow. And we'll give you all the updates we find out from fall camp over the next few days. We'll talk soon. Peace.